What if I told you that the most underrated chess tip helps you attack your opponent, makes them fear you, and makes chess 10 times more fun to play? This tip is activating your pieces. I know you want to learn more about it, so let's begin. In the first example that we'll be seeing, a grandmaster playing with the black pieces is facing an IM playing with the white pieces. Believe it or not, this game ended in 12 moves. Yes, the international master resigned the game in only 12 moves. The reason? Piece activity. Black was able to activate his pieces. But how did he do that? Let's begin. The game started with e4 and e5. White played this weird move bishop b5. Why would White play that? Well, it's because White wanted to play an unconventional opening in order to trick the Grandmaster and confuse him. But the Grandmaster followed opening principles as he kicked out the bishop and took control over the center. Now, the knight went to f6, and after queen e2, which is another weird move but not much of a bad move, he played bishop to c5, activating his bishop. Do you see how every move he is activating pieces and he's not playing random moves like b5 or a6 or d6? He's not playing random moves like that. Every move in the opening has to be an activating move, no matter what. After knight to f3, black realized something. Do you know the opening principle according to which you should not be moving a piece twice in the opening? Well, guess what? White, in an attempt to trick the Grandmaster, moved this bishop two times, which White shouldn't have done in the first place. What did Black do? Most players would just play d6 trying to protect the pawn. But Grandmaster Ivan Sokolov played the move d5. What is he doing? Why is he sacrificing both these pawns? Well, let's see his plan. After captures, maybe he must have played a move like e4. Hmm, no. He castles, giving away the second pawn. Now, it may look like white's pieces are really active and black is simply down two pawns. So black must be losing, right? Wrong. Well, look at black's king and look at white's king. Black's king is super safe, while white's king is in the center. Now, black asked himself, what is my least active piece and how can I activate it? This rook is not doing anything on the f8 square. So he played rook to e8, taking advantage of the position of the king and the queen on the open e file, pinning the knight. Now, white played c3, which is a decent move. The plan, if black goes, let's say bishop f5, d4 is much better for white. Simply because this bishop is being attacked and the knight has been defended. And also white is two pawns up, don't forget. What did black play here? I want you to guess the move. I am certain that no player rated below 2400 can guess it. Even I didn't see it. I'm below 2400. Bishop f2, bang. What's the point of this move? How can how can players like us who are not at the grandmaster level find moves like this in our own games? Well, you have to follow the checks, captures, and attacks method, about which I've made several videos upon. The idea is simple. King takes, then I'll take the knight. After the queen takes, can you find the winning fork? Knight g4 picks up the queen due to this double attack. But if the queen takes, rook takes knight, and this king is super exposed and will be in trouble. Seeing all this, white decided to play king to f1, shielding the king behind the enemy bishop. Now, black again asked himself, what is my least active piece and how can I activate it? This rook is active, this bishop is active, this knight is also active, this queen is can also activate itself really quickly. But look at these three pieces. Meanwhile, for white, the queen side is sleeping, and only these three pieces are participating in the game. This rook is trapped in the corner, the king is in a very precarious position. Black now develops their least active piece with the move bishop g4, simultaneously attacking. Now, if queen takes, then rook captures knight. The point is, if white plays d4, then black goes rook to f5, pinning the queen to the king. This happened in the game. But here black played king to g1. What's the plan? If black gets greedy and takes back the pawn, which leads to equal material, white will play the move h3, forcing this bishop to move back to another square, and then play the move king to h2, shielding the king, and now the rook is ready to come, the pawn can push, all of white's pieces will activate now. Black did not want that. Can you find the winning move here? After this move, an international master decided to resign the game. The move is queen to e7, threatening almost checkmate on the back rank. Do you see the consequence of playing offbeat openings and not following opening principles? In this game, Black was able to develop all of his pieces. Look at this position, so interesting. This piece is developed. These three pieces also. Meanwhile, look at White's position, so miserable. The queen side is absolutely cooked. It's not even doing anything. The threat is simple. If h3, I'll attack your king. King h7, king h2. Do you think your king is safe here? No, it's not safe. Try to block with the queen and capture your rook. And then your queen is gone. I learned this principle of activating pieces more often, and I played a game. This is what happened. I was playing with the black pieces against a 2100 rated player. Here, I'm clearly worse. Why? Because all of white's pieces are developed while my pieces are doing absolutely nothing here. However, I realized at the right time that I have to activate my pieces. White played knight to h4, attacking this f5 pawn. Here I decided to push because I won't stay here and defend my pawn because I want to activate my pieces. For that, I need to take up space on my opponent's side of the board. f5 is the best move. And after knight takes g6, I used to get panicked by moves like this because I saw that if I take this bishop, knight to e7 wins the queen. There's a double attack here. But I stayed calm and played rook to e8, defending the e7 square. After the bishop moved back, can you guess what move I played? I asked myself, what's the least active piece in my position? This knight isn't really doing anything. Let me play knight to c5 and attack the queen here. After queen to f3, what is what is our least active piece? Well, this rook isn't doing anything. Maybe this rook. No, it's still active. This queen, yes, it has to be this queen. So let's move our queen, right? Wrong. We need to see what our opponent is threatening. Don't get fixated on one idea. I went knight to f6. And after rook to e1, rook a4. Now, the engine says that this is a decent move, but according to me, this is probably the best move I played in the game. You might think, what's so special about this? What's the point of just moving a rook two squares forward and attacking a teeny pawn? Well, here's the thing. This also applies pressure indirectly on this e4 pawn here. Also, my rook does more on the a4 square compared to the a6 square. And now my opponent made a blunder, completely giving away the e4 pawn. All this happened because my rook was here. Otherwise, black would just capture. After bishop to b5, I thought I was losing. Wait, my rooks are being attacked. What do I do? One of the rooks has to die. I took the bishop and then played rook to d4, further activating my rook. This rook is really powerful here. Well, again, I was worried about bishop takes rook, which happened in the game. However, let's compare the activity of black's pieces, my pieces, to white's pieces. Well, first of all, I have a knight and a bishop in exchange for a rook, which is an advantage already. Also, This knight isn't doing anything. This rook isn't doing anything. This rook isn't doing anything. The queen is sleeping here. What is white doing? Maybe this happened because white had less time, but this happens sometimes. I calmly captured the pawn, and after knight f4, queen f7. Again, my queen wasn't doing anything, so I had to activate it. After the trade and rook to d1, I played knight to e4, further guarding this pawn and threatening to capture the g3 pawn. After rook takes, my opponent decided to sacrifice, and now rook d1. I thought my knight is gone. It is gone because if I move the knight anywhere, this rook is hanging. And I sat there for maybe 15 seconds and thought, oh no, I was playing such a nice game. But then I found pawn takes, and after rook takes, I can simply take here, which is called an in between check. Instead of capturing directly, first I took, and unfortunately, in the on the next move, white made a mistake. After queen to f6, white had to run to the other side, but white played king to g2. Can you find the winning move for black? Queen g5 attacks the rook and the king. The game is over and white resigned. In this video, we learnt about chess activity. Now, I want you to play a chess game, and every move, ask yourself, how can I activate my least active piece? Thanks for watching. Train to win. Bye.